In this video, I'll show you how to create a rich text signature, and I'll also show you how to add an image to your signature. So to set up your mail signature, go to your mail settings, and then in the general tab, that's where we are right here, about halfway down the page is the signature area. So if you don't have a signature, you'll have the radio button by no signature selected. If you do have a signature, you'll see the signature here, and we can edit the signature. First, I like to just type out the text I want to include here. I'll do the formatting later. And there's my phone number. Okay, so if I didn't choose any of these formatting buttons when I saved my signature, this is how the signature would look. So the basic Google font and size. But I want to make my signature look a little more interesting. I want to bold my name. I also want to make my name a little bit larger. So again, these are the same formatting buttons that you have in the Compose Mail screen, so they shouldn't look new to you. If you're not sure what these do, just highlight your mouse over these buttons. For lynda.com author, I think I'll make that italic. For this website, I do want this to be a link, so I'll highlight the URL. I'll select link, and it automatically becomes a link, and that's because it has the www in front of it. If I wanted to make Lynda a link and I clicked on that, I would actually have to type in the web address here. And if I need to remove that link, I'll just select remove. You can add numbered lists and bulleted lists as well. If you made a mistake on the formatting and you just want to revert to the original formatting, select the text and choose remove formatting. Looks like that removed the line break as well. So there we go. If for some reason you are pressing enter to create a new line break and it's actually creating a new paragraph break, what I recommend is pressing shift and enter, and that will insert a new line. If for some reason you're getting a new paragraph when you press enter, just choose shift and then enter. Let's say you want to add an image to your signature. A lot of people put their company logo in there, and that's great. Just remember that on some email readers like mobile devices, you may not actually see that image come through. So that's just something to be aware of. If you click on Insert Image, what you see here is that you can add an image if you have the URL for that image. So you can't just upload an image. You need to actually have an image that exists on the web. So let's say your image is on the web, maybe it's on your website. How do you get that URL? Well, I'm looking at this lynda.com page with some logos, and one thing I could do is I could right-click on the logo and choose Copy Image URL, or I could just open the image in a new tab. So here it is in a new tab, and then I can just copy the URL here. So I'll press Control-C to copy that, and now I'll paste it here, and I even get a preview of the image. If a preview doesn't come up, it means there's something wrong with the URL, and you might want to try another one. So I'll press OK. Here's my image. Now that it's in my signature, I can decide on the size. I'm going to make it just small there. Looks good to me, so I'll want to save my changes. And now when I compose a new message, my signature is automatically added to the end of the message below these two dashed lines. You can change your signature at any time by going into Mail Settings and making changes to the signature. You may use your Gmail inbox for multiple roles and multiple signatures. So I'm going to show you how to create multiple signatures using the Canned Responses Lab. So some people use different signatures for different positions. Some people use different signatures for different types of emails. Maybe they have a simple signature and then a more detailed signature. So if you want to use multiple signatures, first you should disable the default signature by going into Mail Settings, and here where it says Signature, I'm going to select No Signature. I'll copy what I already have though, so I'll select No Signature. I'll save my changes, so now I don't have a signature. So I'm going to go into Compose Mail, and I'm going to create a signature. Okay, so here's one signature. Again, I could add some special formatting, like turning that into a link. Maybe I'll make my name bold. Here is my signature. So now I go into the Canned Responses. So this is a lab that I enabled called Canned Response. And this lets me insert any type of canned response into any part of an email. So we're actually setting up the signatures as canned responses. When I click on this menu, I see I already have 3 canned responses, but I want to create a new canned response based on that information I just entered in the body of the email. So I'll select new canned response. Now give this a name that's meaningful to you. I'm going to call this signature Google Apps Expert. Okay, so I've just saved that. Now I can go ahead and compose a new message. So I'll write my message. And then I want to insert my signature. So I select Canned Response, and under Insert, I choose Signature, Google Apps Expert, and there's my signature. And then I can go ahead and send that email. Or I could create another signature by going back into Compose Mail. Now this is my lynda.com signature. So I'll save this as a new canned response. So now if I was writing an email that had something to do with lynda.com, when I get to the bottom of the email, from canned responses, I choose my lynda.com signature. If you need to open the signature, so I can choose resume, for example. This is a signature that I send when somebody sends me their resume. And if I want to make a change to this, under the canned response menu, I'll choose Save, and then I'll choose the name resume. That overwrites the original one. So now when I insert that canned response called resume, it will look like this. And if you need to delete a canned response, just go into the delete menu and choose delete. So I'm going to delete my lynda.com signature. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. And now that signature no longer appears in the canned responses list. If you're going to use canned responses for multiple signatures, there is the extra step of clicking on canned responses and inserting the signature. But this does allow you to have an infinite number of signatures. If you have Conversation View turned on, you may notice some strange behavior with the signature. Your signature will actually be inserted at the bottom of the conversation. So if I were to respond to this conversation, if I were to respond to everyone, when I send this message and then I preview the conversation, I see my signature here appears at the end of the conversation. So I see all of the quoted text, and there's my signature at the end. So this can actually result in you seeing these signatures of people. You could have 3 or 4 signatures being copied at the bottom, and it just wastes space, and it also wastes paper if you're going to be printing your message. So if you have a long signature and you find this annoying that the signature appears down here instead of right after your message, then you should turn on a special lab. And that lab is called, let's find it. I go to Mail Settings and Labs, and I'll search for Signature. So it's called the Signature Tweaks Lab. So what it does is it places your signature before the quoted text, and it also removes that double hyphen. So sometimes people say, how do I get rid of that double hyphen? You turn on this Signature Tweaks Lab. So I'll save the changes. I'll go back to that message that I was writing to. So that was from Abraham. So here's this message. Now I'm going to reply again. Notice my signature appears right here above the quoted text. So instead of appearing below the quoted text like my old signature, it appears here. So that's the Signature Tweaks Lab, and I definitely recommend enabling that lab.